Shabbos Daf Pevav, we're continuing with Mishnayos with a theme. How do you learn certain halachas that are not necessarily connected to Masechta Shabbos? How do you know these halachas not based on a pure limud, rather on a smachta, a good raya from a pasuk? How do we know that Shikva Zera, as the name implies, it's roila hazriya, it's viable? How do you know that's metama a woman 3 days after relations? Because it says in the pasuk, "V'hayu nechayim l'shleishis yamim by Matan Torah," separate from your wives for 3 days. And this is the reason, because we want the women to be b'tahara during Matan Torah. How do you know you're allowed to be mechal Shabbos and cook up hot water for a baby 3 days after the bris milah? It says by Shem that Shimon and Levi waited for 3 days after the bris. When they're in pain, you see that 3 days after bris, the baby is considered a chayil shesh b'sakana. It can be mechal Shabbos in those days. How do you know that the soyer hamishnaleach, the lazazel, the goat you throw off a cliff on Yom Kippur, you'd wrap a band around its neck, a red band, and another band you tied to the cliff, and you'd watch the band change colors from red to white? There's a pasuk in Shai that says, if your sins are red, they'll turn white like snow. How do you know that on Yom Kippur you're not allowed to anoint yourself, you're not allowed to put oil on your body, just like you're not allowed to drink? Because the words shemen and water come in the same pasuk. This is machlokes whether an anonymous Mishnah can be going according to two different Tanoim. If you hold that a Stam Mishnah could go according to two different Tanoim, so the ratio does not go according to Elazar ben Azariah, as we're going to see soon, who holds that a woman is only tummy for 2 days. Our Mishnah says 3 days. But the Sefer could go according to Elazar ben Azariah by Milah. If you say the Mishnah has to go according to one Tana, so we have to switch the word in the ratio. Instead of saying that 3 days you're tummy, you have to say 3 days you are tar. Elazar ben Azariah, as we said, says that a woman who's poileta shikva zera is tmeya for 2 days. In other words, minimum 2 ainos, maximum 4 ainos. So aina is night and day, 12 hours. If the relations were at the tail end of the first day, that leaves this person with 2 ainos only from the second day. If it was all the way in the beginning of the day, the relations, then she has 4 ainos, 2 from the first day, and 2 12-hour periods from the second day. Rabbi Shmuel says no, it's 3 days that she's tummy. 3 days could maximum have 3 24-hour periods, or 3 times 12, which is 6 ainos, and could have 5 ainos if relations were midday on the first day, or 4 ainos if the relation was all the way at the tail end of the first day. Now you're left with only 2 24-hour periods, or 4 times 12. Rabbi Akiva says there's always 5 ainos, regardless. It's exactly 60 hours from the time of the relationship until the time she's no longer tameh. So even if she had relationships a few hours into the first aina, we go a few hours into the last aina. It's always exactly 60 hours. According to Chachamim, it's exactly 72 hours, 3 full days. According to Rabbi Akiva, where do you get this 5 ainos from? 5 times 12. Rabbi Akiva holds that Moshe Rabbeinu always ascended, went up to Shemayim at daybreak, and always came down at daybreak. Therefore, if Moshe Rabbeinu came down on the 4th day at daybreak, that's 12 hours into the 4th day, into Wednesday, because Wednesday starts at Shkia. Therefore, he's only left with 12 hours for Wednesday, plus another 48 hours for Thursday and Friday, a total of 60 hours. If these women went to the mikveh on Friday night, they are not completely tar, they're considered tefillah yom. A woman has to wait until the sun goes down, but she went to the mikveh after sundown, and therefore she has to wait until the following night, sundown. The problem is that Kabbalas HaTorah was Shabbos morning, they were in a state of Tumah. Says the Gemara, that's not a problem. You could be Mekabel the Torah in a state of Tful Yom. However, that never happened. There was not a single woman in Klal Yisrael that was in a state of Tful Yom. They all went to the mikveh. They were able to go before sundown on Friday, and therefore once sundown on Friday came, they were no longer a Tful Yom, they were completely tar. According to Rabbi Akiva, why couldn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu give the Torah on Friday night? There's already a 60-hour period from Wednesday morning until Friday night is 60 hours. The answer is because the Torah cannot be given at night, as it says in the pasuk, Loi merosh b'seisa dibarti. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't talk in secrecy, didn't give over the Torah in secrecy. He wanted all the nations to see Matan Torah in broad daylight. So why couldn't Klal Yisrael go to the mikvah on Shabbos morning? Why do they have to go Friday night? The answer is, it doesn't make sense for some people to be going to the mikvah while others are going to Matan Torah. Explains Tosfos that if we would wait for these women to go to the mikvah, let's say it only took 5 minutes for them to go to the mikvah, that's 5 minutes of bittul Torah for all of Klal Yisrael that can never be replaced. the machlokes of how long tumah lasts by a woman, that's only by a woman. But by a man, everybody agrees that if the zera on clothing that's moist, it's metama forever as long as it's moist. The Gemara remains in a suffix. Is this halacha that zera only remains for 3 days in a state of tumah? Is that only because this woman is Jewish and she has mitzvahs that she is stressed out about, and therefore her body destroys the zera within 3 days? But let's say a Goya who doesn't have these mitzvahs, maybe it lasts longer. Or perhaps a Goya who eats shkatzim or ramasim, her body is also able to destroy the zera in 3 days. Another question the Gemara asks, what about an animal? The zera is in an animal, perhaps it's only a human being that traps the zera and doesn't introduce oxygen to it, and therefore it's destroyed. But an animal that doesn't have a process, doesn't have a canal, perhaps the zera lasts longer. Taiku. According to everybody, Klal Yisrael arrived in Sinai on Rosh Chodesh. And everybody holds that Matan Torah was given on Shabbos. The machlokes is Rabbi Yossi holds that Rosh Chodesh happened on Sunday, and Rabbanan hold that Rosh Chodesh was on Monday. According to everybody, the day they arrived in Sinai, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't say anything to Klal Yisrael. All he said perhaps was Schar Noinish, but he didn't relay anything that Kosh Baruch Hu told him to relate to Klal Yisrael because of the strenuous situation that Klal Yisrael was from the way. They were too tired. The following day, he told them, according to Rabbi Yossi, that happened on a Monday. According to Rabbanan, that happened on Tuesday. The following day, he told them the mitzvah of Hagbala, don't come next to Har Sinai. According to Rabbi Yossi, that happened on Tuesday. According to Chachamim, that happened on Wednesday. And on the following day, he taught them about Hafrasha, separate from your wife. According to Rabbi Yossi, that happened on Wednesday. According to Rabbanan, that happened on Thursday. So that is the machlokes, and which we're going to discuss tomorrow, whether the prisha, the separation, was on Wednesday or given on Thursday. Have a wonderful day.